Howdy, folks. It's your boy here, and we are back. We got some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Hero Rises 2024 event. So voting has begun. You're able to vote for all your favorite characters to make it onto a final banner. So first it's going to be the voting gauntlet, and then the top 8 characters are going to duke it out in there. And then the top 4 from the voting gauntlet are going to make it onto the final banner. This is the one and only time of the year where we're able to really select which characters we want to be on a summon. So it's really important for the player base and the community that we try to get the best possible options onto the final banner, so we have an easier time summoning to get some good stuff. So I've gone ahead and compiled a list of who I think are the best units to vote for and make it onto the final banner. And this was weighted pretty heavily towards how rare and hard to get the specific units are. So a lot of love went to Legendary and Mythic heroes who are always triple color sharing whenever they're around. That just makes it really hard to get them unless you go for the Spark. And also seasonal units and attuned heroes, rearmed heroes, things like that. Characters that are not in the standard summoning pool also get a little bit of extra love. And then we also go ahead and account for how useful the characters are in terms of usability, how strong they are when you're using them yourself, and as well as how strong they are for fodder, because not everyone wants to get the same characters. Like, some people just want to build their faves. So having the best fodder access is going to help with that. So just to do a TLDR, here are my top picks. This is 20 characters that I think are the best possible options. So from red, we've got Christmas Byleth, Legendary Alencia, the Tea Time Ira, and the Ninja Sonaki. For green, we've got Halloween Anna, Legendary Camila, Christmas Dimitri, Atuned Nino, Atuned Pion, Legendary Ymir, and Arcane Lucina. Then from blue, we've got the new Nabata I Green. We have Baby Mark, Mythic Veil, and Christmas Adelard. And then finally from colorless, we've got Mythic Gouvag, Christmas Yaka, Wind Tribe Kago, Summer Ymir, and Arcane Tana. Now, it's always best when an entire color selection ends up winning, because that makes the entire banner one color focus. And the reason why that's so good is because it always raises your chances and odds of getting a 5-star. So ideally, we would want the entire banner to be one color, and seeing as how green has the most selection here, and also green in general also has a higher 5-star rate than the other colors, I think we want this to be a green banner. So the green dream, let's get the green dream 2 to end up happening here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go in detail as to why these guys were picked. So Winter Byleth, really solid unit, probably the best far save unit in the game. They have a really nice duo skill, which gives them Hexblade, AoE protection, and also IO shield. They've got built-in distant counter, built-in tempo, and also built-in null C, which is crazy. Their special nullifies enemy DR and gives them non-pierceable DR, which is also really crazy. And then for fodder, they've got Fire Flood Boost 3 and Weaving Fighter. They're the only unit that has Weaving Fighter, so that's really good. And then we also have Far Save from them, so very awesome unit there. Legendary Alencia is also really good. It's hard to get her without sparking because she's triple color shared on legendary banners. But this is one of the best legendary heroes in the game. Insane utility on this weapon. She just basically moves wherever she wants and lets your allies do the same. Her C skill is essentially just Omni Guidance 4. Works on all movement types, including cav types, which is crazy. Then she gives start of turn null follow-up to allies in 2 spaces. And she's got this insane rain effect where she's doing all stats -4 to the enemies in 4 spaces of her. She's also got aerial maneuvers, which is a crazy B skill for your melee flyers. She's the only one that has that, so just really good stuff from her. All right, next up, Tea Time Ira, crazy unit. She's able to give herself bonus movement from her Harmonic skill, as well as all your characters from the same titles. So 3 houses and Fire Emblem 4. Pretty good units. I mean, those are 2 of the best rosters in the game. And then on top of that, she's a crazy player phaser. She got Canto Distant built in, so you just move as many spaces as you want with them. They also nullify guard, and then they can proc Supreme Astra over and over. And as far as fodder goes, they've got Flow Desperation, which is only on them, and it's really good. If you give this to your melee calves, then they basically just get Desperation for free, on top of half a null follow-up and some stat drops on the foe. So a really good skill there. They also have Attack and Speed Clash 4 and Red Feud for fodder. All right, next up we've got Ninja Sonaki, crazy player phaser. This might actually be the best player phase unit. Well, maybe there might be another one that's a little better. But this, in terms of like DPS, I think this is the most dangerous unit in the game. So they have a duo skill, which gives them another action after they've already entered combat. Very good, of course. They score really high, too, for Arena with the duo skill. And their, like, damage potential is second to none. They just melt everything. From fodder, they've got Flared Mirror, they've got Sabotage Attack and Res, and then Def Res Ploy 3. All really good stuff. Like, particularly Flared Mirror and Def Res Ploy are where the focuses should be. Not too many units really want Sabotage Attack Res, but it can come in handy on a select few things. So, just really good stuff from them. Harmonic Anna, who I think is probably the best green unit in the game. So, their Harmonic skill is really nice. Gives Resonant Blades and Resonant Shields to characters from Awakening and also Engage. Pretty good titles there. Then you also get this 99 HP heal to themselves and allies from the same titles. And they give -5 special cooldown to themselves. Would have been nuts if this went to all allies from the same titles also. But that would have actually been broken. So they can pre-charge stuff like Miracle or Ether or Gale Force if they want to, which is really, really good. And then on top of that, they've got this insane weapon here, which gives them a whole bunch of start-to-turn bonuses, like Null Follow-Up and Hexblade. They can cut DR in half on every attack. They've got Canto 2, and also being a melee flyer, they've got access to a whole bunch of craziness. They've got Attack and Speed Rain Snap. You could give them Guidance 4 and Soaring Guidance. And then they also have Gambit 4 and Attack and Speed Prime 4. So, this might be the single strongest fodder unit in the game, I think. Like, Attack and Speed Prime 4 with Gambit 4 and Rain Snap is just crazy. Just craziness from them. Alright, Legendary Camila is on here as well. Now, this unit's not the craziest in terms of fodder. She does have one fodder skill that's unique, which is Deadly Miasma. But this being flyer locked and also being a C skill is pretty sus when we consider other C skills that flyers may want to run, like Guidance 4 and Soaring Guidance and stuff. But it's still pretty good. And also, she has this B skill here, which is the reason why she's even on here. So, support damage reduction cut is stupid. Like, granting that to allies in 2 spaces is just completely nuts. So, she ended up on here. And she's the Melt Queen when it comes to damage. Very powerful unit on the player phase that can just destroy most of the tanks in the game. Alright, next up we've got Christmas Dimitri here, who's another really good... Second to the Harmonic Anna, this guy might be the best fodder unit in the game. If we just take a look at what he's got here, this is just so crazy. No quarter. One of the craziest specials just nullifies DR on all your melee types. Attack and Speed Prime 4, and then also Panic Smoke 4. So, really wild with what you can get out of this guy, and then he's also got a really nice weapon here, which is allowing him to pull off a Vantage roll. It's not too insane in Summoner duels, but it's really good for Aether Raids where you can just have him Vantage sweep the entire enemy team. Alright, next up we've got the Atuned Nino. So, Atuned Nino is also able to fodder skills while keeping her copy of herself in your barracks. So, just a lot of utility there for fodder. And her weapon's really nice. It gives her a lot of stats, and she can be a crazy player phaser. She's got a lot of good fodder skills, like Flash Sparrow, Speed and Defense Tempo 4, and then Fleeting Echo, which is probably the best Echo skill in the game. So, there's a lot of value to be had with this Nino. Alright, next up we have the Atuned Pion, another Atuned hero. So, Atuned Pion is a really good dancer. She's got a nice support effect here where she's giving attack and speed up 5 in cardinal directions with 5 HP recovery. Her dance skill is giving Canto 1 and Warping, which is also really good. And then she also has access to Rock Slide Dance 3, which she's the only unit that has this, and it's about as good as Firestorm Dance. I would say Firestorm Dance is slightly better, but this is still really good. And she also has Attack Oath Echo, which is the other really good Echo skill besides Fleeting Echo. And the reason why is because it gives you another start a turn bonus for your units that are running Prime 4 to just activate that more easily. Alright, next up we've got Legendary Ymir, another triple color shared unit, so hard to get her without sparking. And as far as her effects, she can give this crazy bonus to her supported allies where they can just completely nullify enemy DR when activating specials. Really strong stuff, like support damage reduction cut, like we said with not Ninja Camila. Legendary Camila is very good. And then she also gets non-pierceable DR on this as well. And for fodder, she's got Attack and Speed Finish 4. She's got Null C4 and then also Attack and Speed Pledge. Null C4 and Pledge are both really good and pretty rare. Only Guinevere has Null C4 and she is nowhere near as good as Ymir. All right, next up, we've got the Arcane Lucina, who's another really good Arcane hero. She might actually be the best Arcane hero for usage, because when you consider what she's able to do with Future Sight, it's just insane. So she gives attack and speed up 6, treachery, and also damage reduction on the first attack to herself and whoever she swaps with. She can use this twice in a row as well. It's not like it isolates you like Future or to change fate like with Chrom. So that's really good. Her arcane weapon is probably one of the best. I don't know if I want to say it's the best arcane weapon, but it's definitely up there. It's like a top 3 arcane weapon. Really good axe for your axe units to inherit. And also, for fodder, she's got attack and speed clash 4, speed and defense snag 4, and then alarm, defense, and res. Not the craziest passive fodder here. And, like, snag is really good, but only on units like her and Chrom where they can repo and move again. So, a really strong unit for usage, and then with the fodder bank utility of being a rearmed hero, she definitely deserves her spot. Okay, then we've got Igreen, who made it on here because of just what she can do with her weapon. She's basically just another version of legendary Camila, except for infantry types. Gives them all +1 movement and bypassing of terrain, so very good. It's like Camila, or not Camila, it's Hinoka and also Caden Lindy rolled into one. So just very strong stuff with her. She's also a supreme damage dealer with the AoEs, and her harmonic skill, giving her treachery and desperation, is stupid. And on top of all that, she's got great fodder as well. Flash Sparrow, speed and defense tempo 4, and pulse up blades. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I think times pulse 4 is still better. But I'm not going to argue against speed and defense tempo 4, which is supremely good. Okay, then we've got Baby Mark. Another good duo hero. So their duo skill is really good. Resets enemy specials by +2 in 3 columns and 3 rows. Inflicts guard and also isolation, which is dirty as hell in summoner duels. Preventing the enemies from being able to use their assists is really good. Can really mess with their action economy too if they've got units that have like to change fate and future vision. So just very good stuff. And then on top of that, they have a really nice weapon where they can debuff foes with sabotage and stall. So stall is really strong against units getting bonus movement. They can do okay damage. They're not the craziest damage dealer, but the support and utility out of this unit is just out of this world. And then for fodder, they've got remote mirror, sabotage, attack, and res, and the best C skill for infantry types, Canto Control 3. This is a must-have if you're playing SD. So yeah, pretty important stuff. All right, next up we've got Mythic Veil, who is also triple color shared, but she's got really nice utility here with Resonant Blades and Resonant Shield support. So that's making it real easy for your units to activate their Prime 4 if you're running units that have that. Also gives attack and res up 6. She's a nice damage dealer, and then she can also support with Scowl, which is really good. This is one of the few ways that you can actually effectively tank is by having Scowl. So it's really nice that she does that. And then she's got attack and res tempo 4, which is good fodder for her, and then attack and res finish 4 as well. All right, next up we've got Winter Adelard. Probably the single best unit in the game. That's a bold statement to make, considering how busted like everything on this list is. But yeah, I do actually think Winter Adelard might just be the best. Like, she's just so stupid. I don't even want to read this weapon. It's just... this is like a hell spawn from what they decided to do here. It's just so dumb. And then she's got Armored Blaze for fodder, which is nice for your melee tanks and your near savers. It's not like as defensive as Pavis and Hardy Fighter, but it's still pretty good, and it also raises damage output, so that is nice. Then we've also got Attack and Defense Prime 4 as fodder and Def Res Ploy 3 fodder. Both really good stuff. All right, Mythic Gouvag is up next, and this unit is pretty rare too. She can only be triple color shared on Legendary and Mythic banners. But this is one of the few range-type units that can actually take 3 actions in a turn. Actually, I think she's the only one that does that. Because the other range units that have Gale Force can only do 2 actions in a turn. This one does 3. So that's already really good for actionability. And then on top of that, just a clinic of fodder, Flared Sparrow, Occult Strike, and Def Res Smoke 3. All really good stuff. Just the melt meta is out of control, and you got 2 really good melt skills on her. All right, next up, we've got Winter Yunaka. The entire Christmas banner made it on here, by the way, to nobody's surprise. That banner was just dumb. So Yunaka's really good. She's got Canto Distant, which is crazy. She has 90% DR and 90% DR cut when she initiates combat, which is just stupid. So really good player phasing. She's also got Flared Sparrow, Assassin Strike, and Fatal Smoke. So all 3 of her fodder skills are really powerful. And again, the melt meta is just way too real. All right, next up we've got Wind Tribe Kago. So their duo skill, they're very similar to Thief Nina, except maybe they're slightly better because they got Kanto Distant, but it's not even by that much of a margin. However, they are way better in terms of fodder. Their duo skill gives them bonus movement and neutralizes enemy bonuses. And they've got Lethality for fodder, Remote Sparrow, and then Disarm Trap 4 and Colorless Feud. Yeah, Thief Nina does not have anything like this, but very powerful fodder stuff. Like Disarm Trap 4, they're the only unit that has this, and it's really good for Aether Raids. Okay, we got Summer Ymir up next. Really good unit for their duo skill, which is just like on-demand King Freyr, or on-demand Odd and Even Recovery. You just pop this in a pinch, and then you remove all your penalties and get back some healing to allies in 2 spaces. So this is really effective. It's also reusable, which is rare. There's not too many reusable duo skills that are as good as this one. So very nice stuff there. You can really mess with mid-turn debuffs that are going on, like with the Arcane Lucina that we looked at and some other select units, maybe Ruse skill, like Ruse 4s, you can turn those off as well. So this is really good for summoner duels. And then as far as tanking goes, they're pretty tanky. In mage-on-mage combat, they are pretty effective. They can be turned into a Farsaver with Impregnable or also Brave Sorin, so that can be good. And for fodder, they've got Fire Flood Boost 3 and then also Mystic Boost 4. Mystic Boost 4 is not as good as Null C4, but Fire Flood Boost is pretty effective on your tanks, so that is at least a good thing that they've got. And finally, we can't do this list without having Arcane Tana. So this unit just is the only unit in the game that has Guidance 4, and you already know how effective that shit is. It's like so busted. So the fact that she can give that out and then still remain in your box is very good. You can also turn her into a fodder bank with the ability of her being a rearmed hero. She's got Deadeye as well for fodder and Attack Speed Unity, which are both pretty good skills. And her weapon is okay. It's not like the craziest weapon. We've actually been getting really good inheritable bows that are not arcane weapons. So like the wind bow that we had on that Wind Tribe Catria was really good. And there's also the wind bow from, or who was it? The Kumo bow from, what was her name again? Reyna, I think, the like ninja from Fates, that ninja lady. So there are actually really good bows. So like this is not the end-all be-all for inheritable bows, but just the value of her having Guidance 4 and being a rearmed hero on top of that is just way too good. So I have to include her on this list. So once again, to reiterate, these are my top picks for the Hero Rises event. So knock yourself out, guys. Go ahead and vote for whoever you like. And hopefully we end up getting a really good banner this year, because, I mean, these are the only times that we're able to really pick our own banner.